Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Jaratma Tushinjarat. On the News Mongolia today, Ulaanbaatar will be divided into 14 cities in June. Public oversight and participation in uranium exploration and mining will be ensured. Over 350 students from 37 schools showcase their skills at Microline Robot 2025. For the news, stay tuned. Next month, Ulaanbaatar will be restructured into 14 cities under a newly approved law, sparking public debate about increased budgets and complex governance structures. Supporters argue the move will decentralize power, improve local services, and allow citizens to directly elect city mayors. The previous parliament approved the decision to divide the capital into 14 cities. However, the law has sparked considerable public debate. One common criticism is that granting district city status will increase local budgets. Proponents argue that the new legislation will allow residents to elect their own mayors, make public services more accessible, and empower communities to decide on changes within their sub-districts. Member of Parliament Sandberg emphasized that politicians and the general public have misunderstood or received inaccurate information about the law.
Some people are mocking the decision to increase districts from 6 to 14, but that's missing the point. Some districts serve only 5,000 residents, while others have to provide government services to over 500,000 people. Clearly, the same system can't work for both.
In most countries, urban development starts with building out infrastructure. In Mongolia, the opposite approach often prevails. With insufficient energy and heating sources, some argue that restructuring districts into cities is unfeasible under current conditions. Experts stress that without simultaneous planning and infrastructure development, progress will be impossible. Some lawmakers argue that the law on the legal status of cities and towns may be unconstitutional and should be delayed.
From an urban planning perspective, the idea that the law can only be implemented after all infrastructure is in place is a bit one-sided. If those responsible do their jobs properly, both legal and infrastructure processes can be implemented simultaneously. For example, Orkhon province currently has 41 representatives. If it gains city status, that number will drop to 21. This undermines the principle of representation. Each representative will serve a much larger number of voters. That could raise constitutional issues and spark legal challenges for the Constitutional Court.
By dividing Ulaanbaatar into 14 cities, the city mayor's powers will be decentralized, with some responsibilities transferred to districts and horos. Each city will consist of residential zones, with 4 to 5 neighborhoods per city. The mayor of Ulaanbaatar will retain authority over major infrastructure projects, such as the metro and energy systems. Officials estimate it will take 1 to 2 years to fully prepare for implementation. During its regular session on May 7th, the Cabinet of Mongolia approved a resolution on measures to ensure citizens' oversight and participation in uranium exploration and mining activities. The resolution was issued in accordance with the law on the Government of Mongolia, the law on environmental protection, and the law on nuclear energy. The Constitution of Mongolia stipulates that citizens shall have the right to live in a healthy and safe environment and to be informed about the environmental impacts of natural resource utilization. The cabinet decided to implement immediate measures to deliver accurate, comprehensible, and accessible information to the public on uranium exploration and mining, as well as raise awareness of the implications and significance of uranium-related projects. Under the resolution, relevant authorities are instructed to implement measures to spread information to the public regarding past geological and exploration work conducted in Dornov province, as well as up-to-date information on current uranium mining technology and safety procedures. The resolution also includes the preparation for the disclosure of information concerning radiological impacts on humans, livestock, wildlife, and the environment associated with the mining and processing of uranium deposits in Zovchova and Dolanwal areas of Ulaanbaatar-Som, Dornov province. And this information will be based on international and domestic research findings. The government will prepare and present accurate information to the public regarding the social, economic, and local effects and the significance of putting the Zovchova and Dolanwal uranium deposits into economic use. To ensure transparency and accountability in uranium project implementation and establish a mechanism for public oversight, the government will study establishing a citizens' oversight board comprising local citizen representatives, non-governmental organizations, independent researchers, and experts. The issue of establishing a laboratory that meets international standards for nuclear and radiological measurements and the analysis of radioactive mineral resources will be studied and presented to the cabinet. The Micro Lion Robot 2025 Championship took place in Ulaanbaatar, featuring over 350 students from 160 teams. This year's event introduced a drone competition alongside traditional categories like robot, soccer, and sumo, giving students the chance to apply their skills in robotics, programming, and engineering through hands-on challenges. The Micro Lion Robot 2025 Championship took place on April 3rd and 4th, with the students showcasing their technical and computational thinking skills and independent learning. The competition utilized the Lion robotics kits created by Mongolian engineers and youth, adding a unique local touch to the event. For the first time this year, the championship included a drone competition, diversifying the event and enhancing its appeal. The new competition category not only increased participation, but also helped integrate cutting-edge technology into the learning process. Over 350 students from 160 teams participated, representing 37 schools across Ulaanbaatar and the provinces. Teams put their knowledge, creativity, and problem-solving abilities to the test with self-designed robots. The event featured 8 categories, including robot soccer, sumo robots, Lego builds, line followers, cube collectors, and drones, with competitions tailored to different age groups. The championship provides an invaluable opportunity for students to apply their understanding of subjects like mathematics, physics, computer science, and technology in practical scenarios. Students enhance their beginner to advanced level skills in electronics and programming, while also preparing for national and international competitions and becoming the engineers of tomorrow. This year's event was organized in collaboration with the Ulaanbaatar Department of Education, the Governor's Office of Bainzorg District, and the Academy of Inventors of Mongolia and Lion Robo. Now let's take a look at Mongolian current affairs. The second consultative meeting between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran was held on May 5th in Tehran, the capital city of the Islamic Republic of Iran. At the beginning of the meeting, State Secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, Mukhtushik Khanajov, emphasized the steady development of traditionally friendly relations between Mongolia and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The officials exchanged views and information on expanding bilateral relations and cooperation. The two sides noted increased bilateral trade in recent years and expressed mutual interest in increasing the volume of halal prepared meat and the meat products exports from Mongolia to Iran. Officials highlighted the successful implementation of joint research on the history and culture of the Ilkhanate since 2014. The two sides underscored the importance of strengthening mutual understanding and friendship between the two countries' peoples and continuing collaborative efforts to safeguard historical and cultural heritage, including tangible and intangible assets. State Secretary Muhtashik Khanajau also met with the Deputy Foreign Minister for Economic Diplomacy of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the heads of the National Museum of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The two countries established diplomatic relations on May 20, 1971, with next year marking the 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations. Thank you for staying with us. Here are the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Next, our program will turn our attention to foreign news, partnered with international news agencies. EU foreign ministers gathered in Warsaw on Wednesday for a two-day informal meeting where they discussed tightening sanctions on Russia in response to its ongoing war in Ukraine. Alongside the situation in Ukraine, the ministers also addressed security challenges in the Middle East and broader European Union defense concerns.
President Trump has offered the way out for Putin from this war, to have a ceasefire at least, but what we don't see is actually the ceasefire. Last night was crazy again in Ukraine against the civil people, and so it is pretty obvious that Putin doesn't want to have any kind of peace, and even not ready to have any kind of ceasefire. And that's why we're seeing as well that what can be the next steps, and what we see that we need to increase the pressure to Putin, actually. We're going to discuss as well today and tomorrow here amongst the European foreign ministers that we need to increase sanctions. We prepare the 17th sanction package, but also we need to increase our, as a European part, in defense, in the meaning of increasing our defense spendings.
If there will be no just peace, it will be that there will be no justice in Europe. Our borders will be withdrawn, aggression will repeat itself, and aggressor will be paid for what he did in the way that he wanted more territories, wanted more political power and sphere of influence. If there will be no long-lasting peace, it means that Europe has to prepare for a much larger war to come to our borders. And if it will be not the just and long-lasting peace, it would mean that we have to invest even more into our defenses, and we will have to prepare for even bigger aggression to repeat on Europe.
Right now, it is very, very important that we stand behind Ukraine. I think everybody can see that our American friends, they are in a position where they will decide probably very soon whether they will walk away from this or not. And if so, we have to ensure that it will be a soft walk away. And one way to ensure that is to send a very, very clear and strong message from this meeting that Europe is ready and Denmark is ready.
At the conference, Estonian Foreign Minister Margus Tsahkna highlighted a shared EU and US call for a ceasefire in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Danish Foreign Minister emphasized the need for the EU to stay united behind Ukraine and prepare for the possibility of the US stepping back from peace negotiations. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.